A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving us with a ton of extra My Pillows. But you know what? That's their loss. I'm going to make it your gain. For the first time ever, you get standard classic My Pillows for wholesale prices, only $14.88. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, I'm going to offer my entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Upgrade to a queen size My Pillow for just $18.88. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use My Pillows for only $9.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever on TV, including my standard size My Pillow, only $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. We have limited quantities at this price, so limit's going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone.
With breaking news and political commentary from a public servant, serial entrepreneur, community leader, philanthropist, and American patriot, and a darn nice guy, it's time for the Grassroots Truthcast and your host, Gene Valentino.
Hi, friends. Gene Valentino. Welcome back to another episode here at Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truthcast. You know, we pride ourselves on trying to cover the gambit of issues on social and political. We stray a bit and try to do things in a more detailed, we like to do a deep dive on certain issues, and one of them is here with me today. His name is Nanda Baghi. He's an American now, but Nanda was a native from India. By the way, Nanda, I got to try some of that tandoori chicken at some point. We got to go out together and do an Indian restaurant upright. And then we'll do an Italian restaurant with me.
Definitely.
That's what's so nice about this. You know, you've got cultures from all over the world. Depending on what street you go down, you can enjoy different way of life and expression. Not so elsewhere in other nations. It's one way or the highway. And here we are, a melting pot of diversity of thought, politics, religion, bloodline, and culture. And I'm so happy to have Nanda Baghi with me today because he's an entrepreneur that made it with Fortune 500 companies here in the United States. And he's done a lot in the IT area, the internet technology area, and has made his own fortune in those regions and had the privilege along the way of getting up close and personal with Donald Trump. Nanda, I really appreciate you being with me today. This is our 7th of 10 segments we're doing in short form. And the next segment, the segment we're in right now, is sports, music, and competition. So where do you want to go with sports and music? Because I know you're a cricket expert, but I don't know your music background. Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Gene, for having me. It's a great honor and pleasure to be on your show again. So let's start with the sports. As we all know, US is the global leader. US as a sports leader, we have more than dozen sports which are well watched or well received in more than 100 countries. So here, the sports has enormous potential for sportsmen and sports ecosystem to build a business or to build a new sport. So even though my passion is always cricket has been played in America for over 300 years. But unfortunately, the British, when they were ruling here, they copied the idea from the backyard of Pennsylvania, and where ladies milk women, they're trying to milk the cows. And during the break time, they used to turn around their stool and play with a stick and a cotton ball. And they copied the idea and made into their own sport. And today, after 300 years of cricket, US cricket has become the top 8 countries in the world. There are 125 countries part of the International Cricket Council, and US is there part of it for many years. But never in the history of international cricket, US was listed in the top 8. So this is the first year which happened in 2024, June. The World Cup was organized after 120 years. The International Cricket Council decided to host a T20 World Cup in our backyard in New York, Dallas, and Florida and West Indies. That credit we should give, to our US cricket administration, because this is a new format called T20 format. It was founded and discovered and promoted, invested in our country by our group. And today it is accepted in all 125 countries, and it is generating more than $10 billion revenue. But unfortunately, the US cricketers and administration did not get the due credit which they must get it. And some part of the credit I would like to give it to our beloved 45th president Trump, because he, out of his busy schedule, he gave a 5 minute meeting time for a legendary cricketer, and it went into almost a half an hour discussion. And then 6 months later, he accepted an invite from the Indian government and Indian Cricket Board and be a chief guest to inaugurate the biggest cricket arena in Ahmedabad, which I was part of the delegation. And he has done that, without any expectations, and he was well received from the airport to the ground. It's almost a 20-minute ride. People were standing in millions, welcoming him and greeting him. So the reason to give that is basically US has a credential now hosting a World Cup in New York, and we built a new arena with a $50 million investment, again thanks to our county commissioner, Mr. Blake Men, and we generated almost 160 plus million from that investments in Dallas, New York, and Florida. So all this, there are thousands of jobs created, more than 160 million generated, and basically, many people worked hard. But we want to keep federal and state governments involved in this sport by giving incentives, giving the land. We have so much land. We can create a framework which can give the land under lease or give it to the right people to build the arenas and make an auditorium within that arenas, like we
Yeah,
call it multi-sports complex with an
yeah.
arena and auditorium, so that we can have events, we can have musical events, we can have, because the one thing I always believed in all my life is music and sports unite people, and the policies and politics divide people. So we want to fight head to head on the policy issues, because we need to keep the discussion to the policy differences only, not individual, not personal. We need to keep all our differences at the policy levels. If it is not for the country, not for the country legal citizens, that should be, anybody doing beyond these two requirements is a treason. Like, I do not
Yeah.
understand, in my common sense, what else can be, dealt as a treason, because
Nanda,
those two are fundamental rules.
yeah, cricket is definitely a popular sport in the United States, but admittedly, it's gotten more popular in the last decade in particular. Is this an association that you're director of or involved with, and how could people contribute to this association to promote cricket?
Yes, the way they can do it is, there today we have more than 1,000 cricket leagues across the country. More than 35,000 people play every weekend, and there is a US Cricket Board, which is recognized by the International Cricket Council. They can go to uscricket.org and become a member. It costs only, like, I think $10 or a very low amount. Become a member, participate in the games, participate in the events, and help them to get the sponsorships, because whether it is a one team or one league, everybody needs money, and they need money to get the infrastructure in place, get the officials in place, empowering and equipment. So at the end, the government need to have, when we can give 66 billion to illegals, why can't you give a 6 billion to legal citizens who contributed taxes to you in the last 25 years
Now,
and
well,
who
wait
has
a minute. Now,
done.
wait a minute. You're making way too much sense, Nanda. But we have to run, and we do need to get on to our next topic. We're talking with Nanda Baghi on in this episode on sports, music, and competition. When we return, we're going to take a deeper dive with Nanda on issues related to our nation's debt, our national debt, And how did it grow, and why is it growing? And more comprehensively, how can we pay it down and pay it back before we can't? Right after this.
Thanks for joining us for Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truthcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and God bless America.